The process of making a handmade heater from copper pipe and recycled materials. 1. Starting with the idea on cold winter days. People always look for ways to stay warm. Some choose modern electric heaters. Others rely on traditional wood stoves. But there are also those who enjoy crafting a small, compact heater themselves, saving money while making use of available materials. The idea came from a seemingly useless piece of copper pipe, which eventually became the heart of the heater. Copper pipe is a material that conducts heat and electricity very well. It is durable, resistant to high temperatures, and easy to bend. When the craftsman saw the copper pipe lying in the corner of the storage room, he thought, why not turn it into part of a mini heater? 2. Fixing the copper pipe with a WD can. To begin, a solid support was needed. The craftsman took a WD can commonly used as an anti-rust spray and used it as a fixture. He placed the copper pipe on it, then carefully bent the pipe around the can. Thanks to the can's round shape, the pipe was bent into a neat curve, forming the basic frame for the fuel and flame system. Bending copper pipe is not just a mechanical task, but also an art. If bent too strongly, the pipe may break or deform. If too lightly, the shape will be uneven. The craftsman had to apply just the right amount of force, feeling the elasticity of the metal, to create smooth yet sturdy curves. Three, drilling holes in the copper pipe once the frame was ready. The next step was to drill small holes along the pipe. These holes acted as air outlets and spots where the wool wick would emerge to catch fire. Each hole was drilled at regular intervals, forming a chain-like pattern. When lit, flames would escape through these holes, creating a glowing ring around the copper pipe. Drilling may sound simple, but requires patience. If done too quickly, the drill bit could deform the pipe. Too slowly, the metal would heat up and become difficult to control. The craftsman had to keep a steady hand, focus his eyes, and sense every vibration of the drill. Dot 4. Inserting wool yarn as the wick after the holes were completed. The craftsman began threading wool yarn inside the copper pipe. The yarn served as the wick, similar to the wick in old oil lamps. Wool absorbs oil well, holds the fuel, and brings it to the surface of the drilled holes. When lit, the oil-soaked yarn would ignite evenly. Threading the yarn was also a challenge. The pipe was long and narrow, and the yarn could easily get stuck. The craftsman used a thin wire to pull the yarn through the entire length of the pipe, ensuring it was positioned correctly and exposed at the drilled holes. 5. Making the oil container from a plastic box for the heater to work, a fuel source was needed. The craftsman chose a plastic box as the oil container. Plastic is lightweight, easy to drill, and can hold enough oil for a heating session. On the lid, he drilled 2 holes to insert the ends of the copper pipe. This way, oil from the box would soak into the wool yarn inside the pipe, continuously supplying fuel to the flame dot. Securing the copper pipe with ab glue to ensure the pipe stayed firmly in place. The craftsman mixed AB gluer 2-component adhesive with extremely strong bonding power and used it to fix the pipe to the plastic box. Once hardened, ab glue became rock solid, keeping the system stable and preventing oil leakage or wobbling during use. 7. Creating the stove casing from a milk can next. The craftsman took a metal milk can. He drilled small holes around its body to allow airflow. These holes helped the fire burn steadily without going out. Then, he used a cutting tool to remove part of the can's mouth and body, creating enough space to place the copper pipe and oil container inside. The milk can became the protective casing, shielding the flame while giving the heater a compact shape. It acted like a cage, keeping the fire safe while still radiating heat outward. Smoothing the surface with sandpaper after cutting the can. The metal edges were sharp and dangerous. The craftsman carefully used sandpaper to grind down the burrs, removing sharp edges. The surface became smooth and safe to handle. 5.9. Pouring oil into the container with everything ready. The craftsman poured oil into the plastic box. The oil soaked into the wool yarn inside the copper pipe. Preparing for the final step, 0.10, lighting the fire and completing the heater finally. The craftsman lit the wick. Flames burst out from the drilled holes in the copper pipe, burning evenly thanks to the oil-soaked yarn. The golden glow spread and warmth filled the space. The handmade heater was complete a product that was simple, creative, and useful during cold winter days. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to the channel. Goodbye and see you next time.